Hello, my name is Putkonen. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to be talking about surrender, the number one secret for inner peace. I know there's a lot of people out there looking for inner peace. I see questions, how do I find inner peace? Where do I find inner peace? It is a big thing that people are looking for. And inner peace is not found anywhere else. It's not a matter of finding it. Nor do we create inner peace, because it is fundamentally something that arises on its own when you're not doing something. I mean, I always recommend that we recognize and cease doing what we're doing, as opposed to doing something else to try to counter the doing we're doing. Don't compound the doing. And so what we are doing is we are in conflict with, struggling and resisting ourselves, others, and the world. And it is only when we cease resisting and denying and cease struggling and fighting and cease being in conflict with ourselves, others, and the world that inner peace arises. It's kind of like silence in that way. I mean, if you are in, even a soundproof room, let's say, or whatever, and you're snapping your fingers, and you're going, how do I find silence? Well, stop making noise. And if you cease making noise, and there's this deep silence, it wasn't you that created the silence. You just simply ceased creating noise. And so that's what we're doing in surrender. We're unconditionally surrendering. We are giving up the fight, the struggle, the resistance, the denial. We are unconditionally letting it go. It will never work if you try to have conditions on surrender. It's like, I'm going to test the waters. I'm going to let go a little bit to see if I get more inner peace. It doesn't work that way. What I'm suggesting is the radical, unconditional surrender. Just cease struggling, cease conflict, cease resisting and denying, and a deep inner peace arises. Perhaps not right away, because even before you surrender, the mind may go rampant, going, oh, what will happen if I quit struggling against what is? Well, what's going to happen is exactly what has been happening, because fundamentally, resisting what is doesn't change what is. It is possible to work with the world and others, and even yourself, collaboratively and cooperatively, to be in harmony with yourself, others, the world around you. And you can never reach that harmony, that cooperation and collaboration, as long as you're holding on to the mindset that I need to resist, I need to fight, otherwise things won't change. I need to resist, I need to stand my ground, I need to do this, that, the other thing, and rationalize the resistance, the denial, the conflict, the fighting. We are so very good at rationalizing and justifying why it's acceptable and okay to fight. And what I'm suggesting is to try to rationalize and justify every reason to give up the fight. Flip it around. Just unconditionally go. Every reason says I can just let it go and not fight it and resist it, and instead try to work with it. Cooperatively, collaboratively. I don't need to have this conflicting, fighting, attitude with things. And when you give up this attitude of needing to assert, fight, defend, doing all these things to resist, to struggle, to fight. As I keep repeating these because this is what we're doing all the time. And as long as we keep doing this, inner peace is never found. I mean, with enlightenment, they say there's a deep inner peace. And why is that? It's because those who are enlightened do not resist what is. Those who are enlightened do not fight and struggle with what is. Instead, they work with what is, cooperatively, collaboratively. Because what is, the world, others, are not separate from you. There are no others. In non-duality and enlightenment, you realize there's only the self. And so all you need to do is cease fighting yourself. Cease all self-conflict. And ultimately, it is only the ego that can be in conflict or disharmony with what's going on. The flower, the tree, the fish in the river is not really in conflict with what is. I mean, you might try to think that a fish swimming upstream is in conflict with the stream. But it's not like what we do when we're in a rowboat and we're exerting tons of effort and bitching and griping about how much of a pain this is and all this internal strife and misery we create trying to row upstream. Actually, the fish I see in the river don't try that hard to swim upstream. They're rather aerodynamic in terms of the water flows around them, and they're able to flit in and out of the currents. And sometimes using the currents help you move forward. Kind of like a sailboat. A sailboat can continue forward motion, but never by directly going against the wind. You're always cutting the wind slightly side to side. And in that way, you're able to capture the power of the wind to move against the wind. That's not struggle. That's not conflict. That's working with what is as it is. And that's the way fish swim upstream, is they're working with what is and sailing upstream. This is a totally different mindset from those that experience constant inner turmoil and are seeking inner peace. You are creating your own situation of conflict and inner turmoil. And the only way to find peace is to cease doing what you're doing and just let it come to rest. Cease doing and let it come to rest and be with what is as it is for as long as it is. And in that open receptivity and being with what is, embracing what is, however it is, new options will open. Oh, I can work with the situation like this. I can work with this person in this way. And start working in harmony. And now the mindset is, how can I work with them in a harmonious way? How, and even with yourself, how can I not fight myself internally, have these internal conflicts? And in this way, you're creating this harmony. But in order to embrace what is now, to create that harmony, first you have to cease the conflict, cease the struggle. You have to unconditionally surrender and go, I'm no longer fighting. And then kind of accept what is and allow what is to be as it is, unconditionally, radically. And then from there, you're able to sense what's going on. Because a lot of times when we're fighting and resisting, we're not really aware. We're not sensitive to what's going on in order to move in time, to work in harmony. We're not sensitive enough. We have to cease the fight, allow and accept, and then from there we're able to move in harmony. Because we can move forward from ceasing the fight. We can move forward with a mindset that I'm going to work with, harmoniously with what is, cooperatively, collaboratively. So yeah, that is the number one secret to inner peace, is surrendering unconditionally, radically, right now. Just give it up. Embrace what is as it is for as long as it is. And from that point, see what you can do to work in harmony. Anyways, if you have any questions, comments, please post below. As always, I encourage you to subscribe if you have not. If you think somebody would really enjoy this video, feel free to forward it on, share. But until next time, thank you much.